organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Good evening and welcome to this Monday edition of Daily Iowan TV. End of trial. Alexander Kozak's verdict is in.
And later, find out how one local organization is battling sexual assault.
Things are about to get wet in Iowa City. Find out more in weather coming up.
We've got a little bit of everything for tonight. The latest on football, baseball, and the golf Big Ten championships coming up in sports.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor Brooks.
And I'm Katie Reber.
The fate of Alexander Kozak was placed in the hands of the jury, and they've spoken. On Monday, the closing arguments of both sides were given to the jury, who found Kozak guilty of first-degree murder and the death of Andrea Farrington. The prosecution argued Farrington's murder was premeditated, while the defense says it was a crime of passion by a jealous Kozak who felt led on by Farrington. Kozak's mental state was also a key argument by both sides, as statements by several health experts were referenced during the final arguments. With the guilty ruling, Kozak will spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole.
The murder case of a Cleveland boy has come to an end. The city of Cleveland has agreed to pay $6 million to the family of Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old boy who was shot and killed by police in November of 2014. This case, among many other high-profile cases involving police killings, was an area of controversy of whether or not police acted justly. The officer involved was not indicted on any criminal charges.
With a growing number of police use of forces incidents, some officers no longer can withstand the pressure of the job. Residents of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, no longer have a police force. The entire police staff, including the marshal, resigned. Members of the force are declining to comment on the matter while the station remains closed down. Neighboring police forces and the Colorado State Patrol are offering to help fill the vacancies until new officers can be hired.
Police are stepping down, but President Barack Obama is stepping up. On Monday, President Obama announced he will be sending 250 more special operations troops to Syria to help in the fight against ISIS. This comes as a shock to many, as Obama has widely promoted diplomacy instead of military tactics as a way to fight the war on terrorism.
With another sexual assault having been reported this weekend, the issue of sexual violence is more important than ever. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and the local rape victim advocacy program is pulling out all the stops to address this problem. Daily Iowan's Keaton Fuller has the story.
After 14 years, the Rape Victim Advocacy Program is moving the focus of April from awareness to activism. April is nationally known as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. But at the RVAP, it was decided that awareness is no longer enough.
Because we really want to push people away from awareness and towards taking action.
This month has already featured a variety of events to work to encourage activism for the issue of sexual assault. Last week, the It's On Us Summit was held to tackle the issue of sexual assault prevention. The summit featured workshops and speakers that addressed the issue head-on, including keynote speaker Dr. Derek Williams, who spoke about masculinity in relation to assault.
I refuse to be a man at the expense of women, of other men, by using fear, control, sexism.
Upcoming events include the Clothesline Project tomorrow on the Pentecrest, where survivors and supporters can make a t-shirt as a testimony of their experience. The events will wrap up on Thursday the 28th with Take Back the Night, a march through Iowa City to rally against sexual violence. While Sexual Assault Activism Month may only last this month, it's important to keep in mind that activism does not end after the month of April.
Throughout the year, we really encourage students and community members to advocate for and use consent practices within their own relationships, friendships.
This month serves as an important reminder that when it comes to sexual assault, there is still a lot of work to be done year-round. Keaton Fuller, Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks, Keaton. It's actually true that sexual assaults do go up when the weather is warmer. And right now the weather is extremely warm. I don't think it's going to last very long, though.
I know, one downside of the warmer weather, but hopefully it stays pretty warm for us here in Iowa City. Let's toss it over to Sydney Zatz in the weather studio to give us the latest.
Well, it looks like Katie and Taylor, Tuesday will be one of our only dry days this week. We'll start off Tuesday morning with partly cloudy skies that stay throughout the day. Things will be cool in the morning with temperatures starting at 53 degrees, but at about noon we'll jump up into the high 60s and will stay there throughout the evening. Throughout the week, things will stay in the 50s range throughout the day and the 40s range throughout the evening. Wednesday, we can expect a 90% chance of rain with those cool temps, but don't put those umbrellas away just yet, as we'll have a 70 to 80% chance of rain throughout the weekend. But if you're heading out to see the Hawks play baseball this Friday, it looks like it's your lucky day. Temps will range in the mid-60s and we'll see partly cloudy skies. That's weather for this week. Back to you at the desk.
University of Iowa President Bruce Harold may not be the fan favorite of many students and faculty members on campus, yet Harold is continuing to try to gain the support of fellow Hawkeyes. On Monday, Harold held 2 open forums for faculty and students to discuss the university's 5-year strategic plan. These 2 forums are the first of 7 that will be held over the next 6 months, as Harold looks to develop strategies and goals that align with the school's central mission statement.
As graduation approaches, senior art students are getting ready to put on their final art show. Mary Kate Herron has more on the preparation grad student Jeremiah Arneson took to get ready for his last event at the University of Iowa.
Jeremiah Arneson only started painting 5 years ago. He was a college baseball player that decided after he graduated to join the Navy, and that has now led him to his future career in art.
That experience being in the Navy was pretty traumatic. I developed post-traumatic stress disorder. And then also going through therapy through the VA, they suggested that I take an art class.
Art has never seemed like work to Jeremiah. It has come to him naturally, and it has helped him heal from what he has gone through in his life.
There's not really much that goes into it other than I think just me trying to just know myself a little bit better and try to get over some things that had happened to me in my past, and then just sort of pop out from that.
Jeremiah's art show ran last week and was extremely successful. Now it is all about what he is going to do next with his future in art.
Every art student not only has to put together a final show before they graduate, but they also have to start planning for their future endeavors. For Jeremiah Arneson, that has never been a problem.
Right now I have a gallery representation in Hudson, New York, with a gallery called Gallery Agree by Stephen Izzos. Getting into more shows, getting into more galleries, just kind of doing what a lot of current artists really want to do.
You can purchase Jeremiah's paintings at his upcoming show in Hudson, New York. Reporting from Art Building West, I'm Mary Kate Herron, Daily Iowan TV.
Well, I know a few more student athletes are preparing for their last games, baseball, softball. We just saw women's tennis end, but still a lot of ball and everything else to be played.
Absolutely, everything's heating up. Let's toss it over to Zach Mackey in the sports studio to give us the latest.
That's right. Thanks, ladies. As promised from Sunday night show tonight, we're going to give you more of a breakdown from this past weekend's spring football scrimmage at Kinnick Stadium. But first, Iowa baseball. The Hawkeyes had their final face-off in the series against the Michigan Wolverines on Sunday, and Colin Murphy was at Duane Banks Field and has the coverage of Iowa's first win this season against a ranked opponent.
Sunday afternoon in Iowa City, the Michigan Wolverines and Iowa Hawkeyes closed out their weekend series at Duane Banks Field. Iowa looked to close out the series on a high note after Michigan had taken the first 2 games of the series from the Hawkeyes.
I've taken only positives out of this. I know we didn't play our best in the first 2 games, but we still were fighting in both those games. So great team, Michigan.
The Hawks went down 2-0 when Michigan designated hitter Dominic Jamet hit a 2-run home run off starting pitcher Calvin Matthews in the top of the 2nd inning. Iowa slowly crept back in the game when in the 5th inning the Bats came alive, scoring 3 runs to take a 5-2 lead. Center fielder Joel Booker led the Surge in the 5th inning, driving in his 2nd run of the game on his 3rd hit.
It just felt like everybody was relaxed, and we actually had a mission today because I don't think anyone likes losing to Michigan. So we just used that as fuel to the fire and tried to put it on them.
While the bats for the Hawkeyes were heating up, the Michigan bats were cooling down. After Matthews lit up the 2-run home run in the top of the 2nd, Nick Gallagher came in and was dealing, pitching 6 scoreless frames for the Hawks.
Yeah, he was tremendous. Had command of all of his pitches, and I just loved the intent. He was really aggressive. He went after their hitters, and obviously a good hitting team. And on a day when the wind's blowing out like that, he wasn't intimidated. He just attacked and forced contact.
Gallagher was pulled in the 9th for pitcher Zach Daniels, who came in to close it out for the Hawks. Hawkeyes win 8-3. Reporting from Duane Banks Field, this has been Colin Murphy, Daily Iowan, TV Sports.
Now taking it to the turf at Kinnick, Saturday, Iowa hosted their annual spring scrimmage. And this year, the experience was eye-opening for coaches and players alike. Football reporter Katie Sextro takes us through what the Hawkeyes have on their to-do list for summertime before the fall season.
After an undefeated season and then a letdown at the Rose Bowl, the Hawks finished their spring ball with the annual spring game here in Kinnick Stadium on Saturday. And even after some explosive plays from offense and defense, the players and Coach Ferentz know that they have a lot of improvement to do during these coming summer months to get ready for their first game in the fall.
Overall, just pleased with the effort. The attitude of the team's been good. They're doing a lot of good things, day to day. But then certainly, as today was reflective, we got a lot of work to do, a lot of things to clean up. If this were a game situation, just count the penalties, the turnovers, some bad decisions being made out there, and those will be great teaching examples for our guys. And we got a lot of room for improvement, certainly, and a lot of room for people to step up, continue to step up.
With starting quarterback C.J. Beathard out on Saturday with a minor injury, it allowed his backups a chance to step up and get some valuable playing time. And with some returning players, the offense knows exactly what they need to do to get ready for the fall.
We need to correct, just like with any time we go out and compete, there's always something you can look at and say, okay, we need to do better at this, do better at that. But I think the offense has built a pretty good foundation for what we need to do in fall camp.
And as for defense stepping up, Miles Taylor knows there are specific things they can do to be ready come September 3rd.
We still need to improve, like I said before, on fundamentals, eyes, tackling, communication, just the overall game. We all need to step up.
We've had good attitude, work ethic on the practice field. But all that being said, we still have a real long road in front of us right now. And, last year at this time, our goal last year was to be a championship team, and we want to do the same thing now.
Reporting from Kinnick Stadium, Katie Sextro, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Like Katie said, the Hawkeyes open up Kinnick on September 3rd, facing off against Miami of Ohio University. As football is preparing for the season in the fall, Iowa men's golf is taking on the tail end of their season as the Big Ten Championships were this past weekend. The team took home 2nd place, following behind University of Illinois, who took their 2nd consecutive Big Ten Championship win. Iowa had 3 top 10 finishers, led by junior Carson Shack, who finished 4th overall and earned an all-championship team distinction. The other 2 Iowa golfers in the top 10 were junior Raymond Knoll, who finished 5th and also took an all-championship team distinction, and freshman Matthew Walker, who tied for 6th. That's all the time we have tonight here in the sports studio, but be sure to check us out the rest of the week for more on all things Hawkeye athletics. Back to you two at the desk.
If you thought it is impossible to run on water, think again. Reza Volucci attempted to run on the Atlantic Ocean from Florida and Bermuda in an inflatable bubble.
The inflatable bubble or hydropod works similar to a hamster wheel where the pod moves as Volucci runs. Ultimately, his journey was cut short after the Coast Guard determined his voyage was unsafe. And this is not the first time the Coast Guard has stopped Volucci's plans to run on water.
In 2014, the Coast Guard rescued him after reports of a disoriented man in a bubble close to the coast of Miami.
I've honestly wanted to go in those hamster things before, but I feel like I'd get claustrophobic.
It would be thrilling, that's for sure.
Yes. That's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Katie Reber.
And I'm Taylor Brooks. Have a great night, Iowa City.